This entitled mum tries to get a young couple arrested for breaking their kid's skateboard, but the couple have one trick up their sleeve to turn the tables on the mum and her kid. Happy birthday, today's your birthday and on with the revamped show. I'm a single mother to 3 kids. D is 5, S1 is 4, and S2 is almost 2. My eldest 2 were heartbroken when they learned that we couldn't visit our local park because of the current pandemic. Nasty germs, as they call it. So to entertain them, I bought quite a few new things for them to play with. My family have also contributed to this, including buying and setting up a Wendy house and moving a large plastic climbing frame with 2 attached slides from my uncle's house to here. I am very grateful for everything they've done. My kids love playing outside, and I'm lucky to have a lot of garden space. I understand that not everyone has a lot of space in their gardens, but we also live in a rural area, so there's a lot of land to explore, including walking trails, a lake, and mountains. You can see everything kid-related from the street. My garden isn't level over one side, so I put everything on that side instead. On to the story. SK is sweet kid, about 7. EM is entitled mother, late 30s, early 40s. S2 had just gone down for his nap when D and S1 asked if they could go out to play in the garden. I said okay, unlocked the door for them, locked the front gate, just a simple metal clasp to join it together so the kids can't open it, and then headed back in to start tidying up. I went upstairs to put some clothes away and heard the gate open. I thought that it might be their stepfather dropping off some treats for the kids, so imagine my surprise when I walked out the front door and saw a child instead. D is very good with fiddly things like the clasp on the gate, but she can't open it, so I assume that EM opened it, let SK in, then closed it again. Oh, hi there. What are you doing here?
Hi, my mom said I could come in to play.
Me, surprised and confused to say the least. Where is your mom now? I'm sorry, honey, but I don't think I know you. What's your name?
My name is SK. My mom said she'd be back soon.
She left you here?
Yeah, can I go and play now?
Me feeling bad for the kid. Okay, but I'll have to ask you to clean your hands first. Do you know about the nasty germs? She nods. Okay, good. I'll go and get some things and we'll sort you out. I go inside and get my hand gel, help SK clean her hands, and then walk with her to the back of the garden. D, S1, this is SK. She's going to be here for a little bit. How about we do some drawings with chalk? The kids all say yes, so I draw some lines between them all and tell them that it's their drawing space to give them some room to socially distance. I keep an eye on them, but also turn to check the street every so often. I was busy helping S1 get a stone out of his sandal when I heard the gate close again.
SK, time to go!
Oh, hi, you must be SK's mum. Can I have a word, please? I gesture a little away from the kids.
No, we have to go now. I have to get back home to let my dog out.
Well, I'd like an explanation before you leave. Why did you just leave SK in my garden? Why didn't you at least knock on the door and ask?
I needed to go to the shop and didn't want to take her with me. Normally I'd let her play in the park, but it's closed. So when I saw your garden, I thought it was a great idea. I'm sure you understand how stressful it must be to be a mom during this time.
I do, but I also understand how irresponsible it is to leave your child with a stranger while you go elsewhere. The things in this garden belong to me and my kids, not to anyone who happens to be walking past.
You're not a stranger. I've seen you on the school run and I knew you lived here.
I didn't recognize SK and I didn't recognize you either. Knowing someone from the school doesn't instantly mean you can leave them with that person.
Why are you making such a stink about this? It's done now anyway.
I'm making a stink about this because you left your child here with a stranger that you didn't know. If she'd been here any longer, I'd have rang the police.
Why would you have gone that far over this? You're a freaking selfish bee. Keeping the gate locked when other kids could be making use of the stuff here?
Are you seriously that freaking stupid? You left your child here. If my youngest wasn't napping, I'd have asked SK where she lived and taken her back to your house. I'd have quite happily waited outside to give you a bollocking then too. What kind of parent leaves their child with a stranger while they pop to the shops? Next time, don't leave your child in a stranger's garden and you won't have any problems. If you drop SK here again, I will ring the police. What if I didn't actually live here? What if something happened to her?
Come on, SK, we're leaving. I'm not gonna stand here and listen to a child tell me how to parent.
I'm 23, so yes, a young parent. Well, clearly, this child can parent better than you can. So get the heck out of my garden, now. EM glares at me, grabs SK by the arm, and starts storming off. SK looks sad and waves at me. I wave back with an apologetic look on my face. I feel so sorry for her. After she left, Dee strides up to me with her arms folded over her chest. She's smiling, so I know it isn't something serious. What's wrong, Dee?
You said naughty words.
Me chuckling. Sorry, baby. Mummy will put some money in the naughty word pot. The naughty word pot money goes towards sweets for them if we go to the shop. Yes, all together. No child endangerment here. And that's it. I'm hoping I don't see much of EM when school eventually starts back up, but I'd be happy to see SK again. She and Dee played very nicely together, and I could see the potential for friendship there. Okay, even if you knew someone like you're on really good terms, even if you were family, it wouldn't make sense to just drop them off in the backyard without letting the parent know. What if they had a medical appointment that they had to go to? I think that she should have just called the police straight away and let the entitled mom deal with the repercussions of that. Hey, so I have tons of stories from this family, and I still live in the neighborhood, and honestly, try to avoid her every second I can. I'm 21 now, female, and her daughters are 23 and 21, 5 months younger than myself, respectively. We will call entitled mother Karen, daughter 23 Taylor, and 21 Caitlin, changed names. So they moved into the neighborhood when I was 3, Taylor 4 or 5 and Caitlin 3. And at first I was friends with entitled daughters. They irritated me though, but you know, that's life. And when there's kids to play with around your age in your neighborhood, you take it. Flash forward and we are all in elementary school and have the same bus stop. There are about 8 to 10 kids at this stop, and it was always a race to be first in line. Now, entitled family is kind of a mess, and the daughters would always be sprinting up the street while the rest of us tried to get the bus driver to wait for them. Late, as always. Didn't bother me though. So one day, entitled family gets to the bus stop a few minutes before the bus, and the rest of us kids are already there in line. I happened to be first that day, and I'm talking to another one of my friends at the stop who was second. Caitlin walks up to us and says,
"Hi, can I cut in front of you? I want to be first today."
"No, I'm first today. Maybe get here first tomorrow and you can be first tomorrow," I tell her. Caitlin starts crying and runs to her mother. I continue my conversation because this girl always cries and I just couldn't be bothered to care. Then Karen walks up.
"Excuse me, but Caitlin deserves to be first today. Let her go in front of you."
"No, I am first."
"Well, Caitlin deserves it. She never gets to be first, and so you should let her. It's only fair."
"No, she needs to get here first to be first. I told her maybe tomorrow she can be." Karen walks away with Caitlin and I hear her telling her some Bible verse about the last shall be first and how I'm going to hell for not sharing. That's just one incident. Here's another. This one featured entitled Dad, who we will call Dan. I am playing with the same neighborhood friend from the line. Let's call her Sam. I'd say I'm 7 and she's 9 here. So Sam and I are playing in her driveway when Taylor comes down the street to see what we are doing. We tell her, I remember we had made up some play where we were wizards or something. Not too sure. Anyways, she tells us that's dumb and that she doesn't want to play that. So we say okay, then don't play with us, and continue playing. She goes home. 5 minutes later, Dan comes down the street and walks up to Sam's driveway. He calls us over and, being kids, responding to adults, we head over to see what's up.
"I hear you're excluding my daughter, ladies. You know, that's unacceptable."
Actually, we told her she could play, but she didn't want to play our game, Sam tries to explain.
"Well then change your game so she can play,"
he yells at us.
"I will not have selfish kids making my daughter cry, and I'll tell your mother you're excluding her if you don't play something Taylor wants."
Long story short, because we were terrified of this ex-army monstrosity of a dad, we changed our game, reluctantly. Things like this happen so often it's hard to count. He terrified us. I guess I'll do one more, although I have dozens in mind. This time I'm about 13. I've always always been a good student and made straight A's. I also suffer from extreme anxiety, and during this time I was super skinny because I physically couldn't get myself to eat due to this anxiety. Taylor and Caitlin have always been bigger girls. No big deal. They were also C and B students. Again, who cares? Well, entitled parents did. I was over their house one day, just watching a movie, and they invited me to eat dinner with them. We all sat down at the table and began to eat. Entitled parents, Karen and Dan, look at each other, and Dan asks me,
"How are your grades doing? You're doing well in math, I hear."
Not wanting to be rude, I tell him yes, I'm doing well, but say no more. He then asks,
"Well, what are your grades?"
I tell him all A's, and he looks at Karen.
"I think you should let our girls have your homework, or do their homework for them. After all, you are supposed to be Caitlin's grade, so you should probably do her work."
I had skipped a grade, so I was in the level directly between the two daughters. Entitled parents continued to pester me about cheating their girls to better grades, and I told them I didn't feel comfortable with that. Entitled kids started saying that I had to help them because we were neighbors and I owed them. This whole family seems to think where you live dictates who you help, which I don't agree with. Either way, I refused and they finally let it go. I then reached for another taco, as they were good and I was hungry. Karen looks at me and says,
How do you stay so skinny and eat like that?
I immediately drew my hand back in shame. She continues,
My daughters deserve to look like you. I make them eat less and they still are fat. You're making them feel uncomfortable by eating so much.
I didn't eat again the rest of the night. I went home and told my mum what happened. When she went to talk to entitled parents about it the next day, they told her I was lying. She knew they were lying as the whole family was full of crap, but decided to avoid the drama and just walked away. In short, this family decided that because I was their neighbor and objectively better than their daughters, I had to do everything I could to make them be like me. Imagine having to live next to an entitled family. The only way to get away from them is to literally move house to another neighborhood. And even then, there's no guarantee that you'll completely escape an entitled family. Let me know in the comments below if you ever had a neighbor that was an entitled kid and what your situation was. The backstory. So it was a sunny day, birds were singing, flowers were blooming. On days like this, dummies like me are walking to the store to buy a loaf of bread, but are meeting EMs instead. So mum gave me some cash. I took a small backpack and put a hoodie in it. News said it could rain later, so I wanted at least something, and got kicked out to the streets. And because it was such a nice day, I decided to walk around a bit before buying it. My goodness, it was a mistake. I called my girlfriend, only friend, if she wants to go out with me. Surprisingly, she said yes. So we're walking around in the park having a chit chat about what we are going to do at the holidays. I was telling jokes, the usual. We went to buy some sodas before going back. Once we've got it, we turned back. Let's meet the cast. Me, GF, girlfriend, EM entitled mother, G, random guy, C, cop, EK, sadly a little brat, 10 years old. On to the story. We're walking away from the stand. Don't worry, that'll put you up on your feet. Girlfriend laughs because of a bad joke. Don't worry, I've got tons more. Oh, I'm sure you do. Summon EP family. Oh, this one's also good. Dad, why do women wear white for weddings? I get interrupted by EK. Now we were walking around the restrooms, so we didn't see him. So what happened is that EK hit GF and knocked her down and spilled all her Pepsi onto her shirt. Well, the t-shirt was screwed and she couldn't wear it, but thankfully she was okay. But that was the least of our problems. Hey, watch where you're going. Are you okay? Here. I lent her a hand. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks. She takes it and jumps up. Well, you're okay if you say so. I'm glad to hear, but that t-shirt's messed up. Look. Girlfriend checks her t-shirt. Oh man, that was my favorite one too. Meanwhile, entitled mum runs up to us.
EK, sweetie, are you okay, honey? You too, watch where you're going.
Tell that to your son, and buy him a helmet before he hurts himself or others. Yes, he was missing a helmet. Wonderful parent, isn't she?
He doesn't need a helmet. He's very skilled and good.
Yeah, Yeah, he needs one anyway. He's not 18. And even the best ones should have it. Accidents happen all the time. EK starts crying.
Mom, oh Mom. What's wrong, sweetie?
Now I noticed that EK's board was broken in 2 halves and 1 wheel was missing. Either way, it was a goner.
Look what you've done. You will pay for it, both of you.
I'm not paying for anything. I didn't break it. EK fell in it or something.
Oh, yes you are, or I'm gonna call the cops.
I do a smug smile. Sure, I will call them if you want.
Okay then, I will call them now.
She then proceeds to go a few steps away to call the cops. I use the time to give girlfriend my spare hoodie so she can change. Thank you. Don't mention it, but I want it back. I gave her a wink. She smiles and leaves.
The cops will be here any minute, and then you will pay me.
Sure, whatever. Meanwhile, EK stopped sulking. Girlfriend has changed, and EM was giving me a death stare. After a few minutes, the cops came. Probably an officer without a car. Good day, who called 158? Number for cops here in my country.
Me, I did.
So what happened, ma'am? She then proceeds to tell some fake things about how he ran into EK and then proceeded to destroy his board. Did this really happen, kid?
Yes, you broke it.
Alright, so what happened according to you? We were walking home when EK hit us when he came around the toilets. It was a stupid accident. You can check the camera if you want. I point at it. I'm gonna do it. He walks away. EM goes red, and EK too. I know that park too well. And there's a camera there because those restrooms are vandalized often. So they've put it there. It's pointless because people are vandalizing the other side, but they kept it there. After a while, the cop comes back. So we just checked the camera systems and it shows how EK hits them accidentally. And it shows how he doesn't have a helmet. You know there's a fine for it. Right, you two can go away. And you, your ID please. So we then take our things on our way. I look at EM and give her a wink and a wave. She gives me the finger. Nice. Oh, the CCTV. The entitled parents' worst enemy. Entitled mums would like to talk a big game, but it's pretty hard to fight against objective evidence. Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.